Disclaimer, the comments made in this video are intended for entertainment purposes only and are not intended to offend anyone. Welcome to the video. Today we are looking at the absolute best moments where elite athletes and sports figures entirely broke the media's script. Kickstarting us off, when a reporter suggested UFC fighters should be on a corporate leash, Dana White reminded him that free speech doesn't require a permission slip.
Dana, I just want to go back. You were talking about, you obviously give a long leash to your fighters about, what they can say when they are up there with a UFC microphone, and you are getting into territory of homophobia, transphobia. Is there...
I don't give anybody a leash.
Well, I'm saying you...
A leash? Free speech. And control what people say. Gonna tell people what to believe. Gonna tell people... I don't tell any other human being what to say, what to think, and there's no leashes on any of them. What is your question?
I was asking that question. I'll move on, though.
Yeah, probably a good idea. That's ridiculous to say I give somebody a leash. Free speech, brother. People can say whatever they want and they can believe whatever they want.
Imagine going to a cage fighting event and asking why the human weapons aren't being tightly controlled by corporate PR managers. Dana quickly reminded this reporter that outside the media's fragile echo chamber, adults can actually speak without an HR representative monitoring their breathing. But the media's obsession with drama didn't stop there. When a journalist tried to inject identity politics into a literal fistfight, Dana delivered a swift two-word reality check.
Between those two and kind of the racial undertones and all those things.
What were the racial undertones?
Driggett says he's the real African fighter, and so, Israel dropped some N-words in there tonight.
So what was the racial? Who did? Who dropped the racial?
Israel was saying over and over, yeah. Dropped
He's black.
50 N-bombs in there.
Okay, he's black. Who gives?
I was going to say, so you don't have any concern about the way the build-up, the tension between those two?
I could care less. This is the fight business. Israel Adesanya, you can say whatever you want to say. Why are people bitching about that?
Some people.
Of course they are. Oh, hey, all right, got it. Yeah. Too bad.
A reporter walks into a press conference desperately hunting for a racism angle, only to find out that two guys about to punch each other in the face don't care about Twitter's preferred social theories. Dana's response? Peak common sense. Moving to the court, when a reporter tried to suffocate Kyrie Irving with a media-generated narrative, Kyrie calmly reminded them that basketball is just a game, not his real life.
You've had a bit of a hovering cloud covering you this season. Do you feel like you're being misunderstood?
What do you mean? You said a hovering cloud, what is that?
There's been a lot of negative news surrounding you this season. Do you feel pressure a lot, whether it's the media, whether it's the public misunderstanding you? What's your take and how are you feeling?
I don't know what negativity you're talking about. I live with my family, I have my priorities straight, and I do what I love to do every single day. Anybody has anything to say about that, then that's on them. I don't really consider it negativity or a hovering cloud, like you said. This is a fictional reality, this whole basketball thing. I enjoy it. I'm grateful to be able to play it, but this has no effect on my real life at this point. I'm grateful that I matured and found the tools to be able to kind of just focus on the commitment, focus on the job, focus on my craft.
Journalists love pretending their daily clickbait headlines are matters of life and death. Kyrie completely detached himself from their matrix, reminding the press room that he lives in the real world with an actual family, not their fictional news cycles. In fact, Kyrie is a master at dismantling bait questions, like the time he asked the one question mainstream media hates most: why do you even care?
What? People are running with it saying,
Yeah, people...
But we haven't written about it. We're like, we're coming to you to ask you about it, okay?
And people like who then?
Well, it's all over the internet.
Do you look at, is the internet real for you in your life? It's my life, right? It's two people talking, having a conversation. If this was a real world, would it be anybody else's business? But it's a video of somebody assuming what we're talking about, right?
I hear you.
Making an opinion about it. So why would I care about it?
Well,
why does that have an impact on my life? Why are you asking those type of things?
The media behaves like a group of high school hall monitors demanding to know who whispered what at recess. Kyrie completely turned the tables, pointing out how utterly bizarre it is to turn a private conversation into a national investigation. It's like sports reporters can't comprehend an athlete who cares more about humanity than modern HR checkboxes, leaving the press pool completely stunned.
It's not so much about the game anymore. It's just more about caring about your neighbor, your fellow human being, and being there, and then doing your part to make the world go round. You know, I know a lot of people enjoy watching us play and enjoy watching me play, and it's an honor. And I give all the glory to God, like I said. So when I'm out there and I'm able to, you know, give the next generation or even people older than me inspiration while I'm out there playing, then I feel like I'm doing my job. The wins and losses will come regardless. The criticism will come. The greatness will come. And I welcome all that, but with just being rooted in who I am. I'm not going to change for anybody or any moment, but I'm very flexible to understand everyone, what's going on. So I think I've been able to just really be who I am. And that's been the...
How dare Kyrie talk about loving his neighbor and God instead of reading from the approved corporate HR script? Modern sports reporters are physically incapable of processing an athlete who prioritizes genuine human connection over their divisive daily headlines. Next up, a feminist reporter tried to bait Ronda Rousey into a lecture on the gender pay gap, only for Ronda to drop a heavy dose of basic free market capitalism.
Ronda, Lauren down here from the Herald Sun again. Just another quick one about Angela's question on equality just before. We've got quite a large pay dispute happening with our Australian women's soccer team at the moment. Is it frustrating for you as someone who's so prominent in your sport, and we heard you say on the Ellen show the other day you are the richest fighter in UFC, that sort of thing is still going on?
I think that how much you get paid should have something to do with how much money you bring in. I'm the highest paid fighter, not because Dana and Lorenzo wanted to do something nice for the ladies. They do it because I bring in the highest numbers. They do it because I make them the most money. And I think that the money that they make should be proportionate to the money that they bring in.
Ronda dropped a heavy dose of reality on the corporate gender police. Instead of whining about institutional bias, she proudly pointed out that the free market doesn't care about your gender. It only cares about how much money you generate. The media's fixation on policing everything is exhausting, but Ronda proves she has zero time for overanalyzing the problematic physics of female cartoon superheroes.
You've expressed interest in liking superheroes, and a lot of Hollywood is coming out that the representation is very over-sexualized. What do you think about the portrayal in media
of superheroes? Superhero women?
Yeah.
I mean, the guys have like 16 packs. I mean, it's very much like an over-idealized idea of what, a human being should be, and so, I think that the male superheroes are overly masculinized, and the women are overly feminized, and I think that's just part of like the whole superhero universe, really.
A journalist is deeply concerned about the problematic gender dynamics of fictional cartoon characters because that's apparently hard-hitting journalism. Ronda handles the question by reminding everyone that overanalyzing a superhero's spandex is an absolute waste of human intellect. Speaking of desperate narratives, watch how Buccaneers coach Todd Bowles completely shut down a journalist trying to turn a football game into a racial showdown.
You and Mike Tomlin are two of the few black head coaches in the league. I wonder what your relationship is like with them and your thoughts on Steve Wilkes joining that fold.
I have a very good relationship with Tomlin. We don't look at what color we are when we coach against each other. We just know each other. I have a lot of very good white friends that coach in this league as well, and I don't think it's a big deal as far as us coaching against each other. I think it's normal. Wilkes got an opportunity to do a good job. Hopefully he does it. And we coach ball. We don't look at color.
Nothing ruins a journalist's day quite like two professionals refusing to see each other as political tokens. Bowles completely rejected the media's dividing script, reminding the press room that skin color doesn't dictate how you draw up a blitz. When that same reporter doubled down on the corporate script about representation, Bowles responded with pure common sense. The obsession ends when the media stops talking about it.
But you also understand that representation matters too, right? And that when young aspiring coaches or even football players, they see you guys, they see someone that looks like them, maybe grew up like them, that has to mean something.
Well, when you say you see you guys and look like them and grow up like them, it means that we're oddballs to begin with. And I think the minute you guys stop making a big deal about it, everybody else will as well.
This reporter desperately wanted a deep, emotional lecture on institutional representation, but Bowles wasn't buying it. He completely dismantled the entire race-baiting agenda by pointing out that the media is the actual source of the obsession. Of course, if you want to see corporate ideology truly get its teeth kicked in, look no further than Dana White absolutely vaporizing Netflix's hyper-woke guidelines at the Tom Brady roast.
It pisses me off. I flew all the way out here, and you guys give me 60 seconds? My name is Dana. Is that not trans enough for you liberal Tom, you played for the Patriots for so long that I was actually starting to feel like you were from Boston. Then I saw you run, and I was like, no, he's definitely from San Francisco. You led the league for 20 years in passing as a straight guy. Come on. Jeff Ross was very interested in the UFC. He thought it meant unlimited fried chicken. I love you, Tom.
Leave it to Dana to walk into an elite Hollywood roast and immediately trigger the entire production room. Instead of reading the pre-approved safe jokes, he launched a direct verbal assault on California's preferred ideological checkboxes. That brings us to a fiery debate where three people had to explain basic biological reality to an activist who was completely allergic to facts.
Why aren't we seeing women infiltrate into men's sport?
Of course we're not, because they can't compete. You don't see any trans men going into men's sport, do you? Because they can't, they'd lose.
I'm trying to figure out what are you trying to say?
There aren't. There are no trans men competing at a high level in men's sport.
Women?
No, trans women are not.
No, I want to hear
trans women are
She
men.
does not believe that transgender women are women.
Because they're not.
Right. And
They're
there you have
not.
it.
For the love of God,
I
they're
think
not.
we should get into
They
that
are not.
because
And
obviously
there you
I
have
find
it.
that offensive. The transphobia is here.
Please stop
There you
abusing
go.
women by calling us cisgender. Women are just women, right? Anything else?
So
you
see
can
how she
add on
said
the
abusing
embellishments
women?
to it.
So she
They
does
are-
not.
That
She
doesn't
does
make
not
you a
consider
woman.
trans
I can't believe
women
we have to have this
women.
You know where this
and
takes
she
you,
considers
Ernest?
it abusing. These
So
are
you mean
far-right talking
biological
points.
reality is
You
far
know
right?
where this?
Is that it?
Here's where
Hey,
this might.
Ernest, if
Hang
I'm
on,
a transphobe, then you are a misogynist.
And
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
complaining with Pride Month.
That's complete nonsense.
When the progressive script completely falls apart under the weight of basic logic, the backup plan is always the same: shout a buzzword and claim victimhood. Riley stayed grounded while the activist had a total linguistic meltdown. It's a toxic trend NCAA swimmer Riley Gaines knows all too well, which is why she stepped up to expose how the political establishment actively weaponizes power against women.
But for the past 3 years, we have been stonewalled. And when I say we, I mean women. We have been stonewalled by the previous administration. And actually not just stonewalled, they actively worked against us as women and required these men into our sports, into our locker rooms, into our single-sex spaces, and reprimanded us as women if we even dared to question this. So to see the moral clarity and the decisive action of course, President Trump, who has made this a priority. It was issue number 17 on his platform. Within the first, 2-3 weeks of his presidency, making this a priority, it sends a very strong, clear message to women and girls across the country that we matter. And again, that could not be more stark from the message that Joe Biden and his administration sent.
For years, the political establishment treated female athletes like a minor inconvenience, actively forcing them to stay silent in their own locker rooms. Riley points out how quickly the script flipped when basic common sense became an actual executive priority. For Riley, this isn't a theoretical debate, it's about the basic human decency of protecting women's private spaces.
I saw firsthand and experienced firsthand the extreme discomfort in the locker room and changing with someone of the opposite sex who is equipped with and exposing male genitalia in areas where we as women were vulnerably undressing. Seeing this firsthand, I've made it kind of my mission to go around doing everything I can to enact change so that this doesn't happen to any other woman or young girl. I'm confident that they will do what is right, they will do what is truthfully common sense. And so I'm so grateful for their leadership and continuing to fight for that next and present generation.
The corporate establishment loves using weaponized empathy to guilt women into staying silent while their basic privacy is completely erased. But treating biological reality as a hate crime backfired the moment female athletes decided that protecting young girls was worth the media's fake outrage. Finally, when activists suggested a third category for sports, Riley completely dismantled the idea by pointing out it's just another loophole for biological men to keep winning female trophies.
I think maybe there'd be a women's, a men's, and then that community, you know, have their own.
If we create a third category, it's really just another place for men to win. It will be a male who identifies as a woman beating out the females who identify as men.
No third category. So Mr. Thomas, William Thomas, could have had a delusion in his head that he's a woman while competing against other men. Instead, we had to reconfigure all of our systems so Riley, with XX chromosomes, had to compete against delusional freak with XY chromosomes, so then she had to tie. Here's the problem with the trans thing. Why do we have to change our systems for your mental problem? We don't. Compete in the chromosomal category that you were born into. This is one of the big problems, is that we should not have to redesign society because you're tormented. Mr. Thomas is a broken person. Only Jesus can heal Mr. Thomas. And we actually did him a disservice by furthering his campaign of brokenness into the female category. A properly configured society says, bro, you got problems, let's help you. But we're not gonna have you go create more chaos and confusion and be a thief against women that competed their whole lives to become NCAA champions.
The modern sports world thinks it can magically solve fair competition by inventing a complex, multi-tiered category system. This quick reality check exposes the truth: no amount of linguistic gymnastics can change the fact that male biology will always hold an advantage against female biology. That wraps it up for today's breakdown. Which athlete delivered the absolute best reality check to the media? Let us know in the comments below, hit that like button, and subscribe for more daily content.